Some of you are about to break under the pain. Today, we want to identify the pain so that you don't compound the pain unnecessarily. And we're going to talk about the good news of coming out on the other side, what I do when I go through things like that, and how I use meditation and things to go inside and regenerate my soul. Because some of you are just tired, okay? And you cannot go another day, another week, another year, another decade of pain. Some of you have spent half of your life or over half of your life in pain. Now, we're not talking about crimes that are committed against you and things that you did not allow. This is identifying the pain that you have allowed. First of all, if you don't identify the source of the pain, you will compound it. This is in the matters of the heart, purely relationships. You want to throw in some friendships and some family up in there, you can. But we are going to focus on relationships and the pain that is taking place in relationships. Okay. And you can have a real close friendship and it hurts and some things have gone on. You never know. People betray you and do all kinds of things, stab you in the back. Okay. But there's nothing worse than self-sabotage. That is worse than somebody stabbing you in the back. And that's what we're going to talk about today. If you don't identify the true source of the pain, you're going to add more pain unnecessarily. This is what I mean. Number one, when you allow somebody in your space and they betray you, they cheat, they lie, they deceive, they do something to hurt you. Let's just identify that. They have hurt you. But when you allow them to continue to stay in your space and allow them to offend you again and again and again, now you're compounding the pain and pointing the finger and blaming. And this is not about blaming and pointing the finger. The point of this video, come on, let's focus. We are tired of pain, but we have to realize that we are the ones that are responsible for allowing it. I'm making a point. It's because when you point the finger and you blame and then you have bitterness and anger towards someone else, that's just adding more pain because somebody did something to me. But I had to learn this lesson. I allowed you. I gave you permission to do it. I gave you permission. Initially, yes, what they did hurt. It was offensive. That's where it should have stopped. And you address it. This is what you did to me. But we have to learn the lesson. Take our hand off the stove. I made a post about that. Your hand is on the stove. It's hot. Take your hand off. Don't put your hand on it again. We're the ones that allow it to happen over and over. The people that have the biggest hearts, you are always victim to this. Those of us who are star seeds, light workers, empaths, with the big heart, we just want to love people and we just want to do good by people. And we over-sacrifice. We're the ones that always fall prey to this. And that's how we end up seeming to just get buried under so much pain because of, number one, what they did, but now we're angry and we're bitter and we're upset. And that's just adding on to it as if it's totally their fault. And we're not even taking full responsibility. I have no right to be angry, bitter, or resentful towards my ex-husband because, 12, 13 years ago, I made a choice to marry this man. He did not chain me to the bed, did not drag me to the courthouse to marry him. There was no shotgun involved. I made a choice. And that's what we want to focus on, to keep the pain to a minimum. What they did was already hurtful and offensive. You don't want to compound it by pointing the finger and blaming and then adding on more sorrow and playing the victim because look what they did to me. Now it's even worse. But hold up. Okay? You gave them permission. You allowed them in your space. You allowed them in your space for weeks, for months, for years. And this is not about beating yourself up. Now listen, this is not about beating yourself up. It's about lessening the pain. Because when you can point and say, hey, listen, I gave them my power. I gave them the power to do this to me, to treat me this way for this long. That's even more good news because now you're empowered to know if I gave them that, I can take that back. And I can put myself in a safe space, in a safe place, and not allow them to do it again. That lessens the pain. A lot of us are buried under pain because of the offense and then blaming the person and anger and resentment toward the person that caused the offense. I've been hit. I've been pushed. I've been cheated on, lied, deceived, all the stuff you want to say, right? But I have no right to hold on to bitterness and anger and resentment towards any of them because I gave them permission to do it. And then we want to get into why do we do that? Okay, I allowed it. Unless you were sex trafficked, raped, and there was a violent crime, assault against you where you did not give consent, if you allowed somebody to cheat on you, to mistreat you, then you have to take responsibility for that part. And once you do that, it's going to keep you from doing it again in the future if you learn the lesson. I'm just going to be honest. I'll be 43 in a few days. I started dating and doing the whole love thing when I was 13. So that's 30 years. And not one person has ever done right by me. That's just the truth. Not one. And I allowed that. I gave them permission to do it. Whether we were in a relationship for 2 years, a marriage of 7 years, we were together for 3, 4, 5, 6, it doesn't matter. I allow whatever treatment they gave me. That's the point I want to get to so that we can heal our soul, because I want to talk about how to heal your soul and how to regenerate your soul and go into these spaces of isolation where you go within and you ask yourself the questions. Go within. You have got to not be afraid to be alone. You have to find a season, a time to get alone with yourself. Let me tell you why we do these things, why we allow that. Because we forget that we exist. Pause, rewind, listen to that again. You have treated yourself like you don't even exist. Their priority, they're first. You love them more than you love yourself. I just made a post. I might insert it and read it at this point. But I talked about how you have loved others more than you've loved yourself. And you wonder why they always love somebody else, why they're trying to love you, or why they're in a relationship with you, or why they're cheating on you because you're cheating on yourself. Why they put other people first or other things first, because you put them first. And it's a mirror. It's a reflection. They're treating you like you treat yourself. You can't be mad at somebody for how they treat you when you treat yourself the same way. I mean, nobody's perfect. We're all humans. I get it. Don't judge, blah, blah, blah. But for me, in 30 years, and I've had maybe 6, 7 connections. Some of them I can't even say they were relationships because that's just how they treated me. Couldn't even, make anything official. But I allowed that, and I take responsibility for that. And let me tell you why. I hope you're listening. The more I realize that I allowed it, I'm telling you, it lessens the pain because I don't have to point to them and then play the victim. Because that makes it even worse. That's even more disempowering when not only did you violate me, now I'm a victim. No, I'm not a victim. I gave you permission to do it. I allowed you to do it for a reason. And then you ask yourself, are they mistreating me? Yes, because I'm mistreating me. I'm mistreating myself. Is it really that they are mistreating me? Or is it that I'm mistreating myself? You forget that you are a whole person, a whole being with feelings, because you're so busy putting their feelings, their being, their person first. Because that's what we've been taught. That's what you've been conditioned, especially that lie. I never subscribe to that be his peace stuff. No, let Jesus be his peace. Why am I going to be his peace when I've mastered my own? He should be mastering his own peace. Why should I be something that he should have mastered by now? Or in the process of mastering? If I can master peace, why can't you? We're both human beings. Now, I agree to be a peaceful person because I am a peaceful person, but I'm not about to be your peace. Let Jesus do that. If that's what you believe in and that's your faith, I'm going to be a peaceful person and master myself, and that person should be mastering themselves. But you've been so busy trying to be their peace, or as a male or female, doesn't matter, that you've over-sacrificed and sacrificed your own peace. And now you're hurt. You've neglected your whole person, your whole being, just to be in a relationship. Just for the sake of having a connection, you prioritize their feelings and their thoughts, and you totally neglect yourself. Stop treating yourself like you don't exist. I've done that all my life until, of course, now I don't do that anymore. In my book, Finish It, I talk about the marriage. I talk about what kind of person he was and the things that he did, but I also talk about myself. I married him. I chose that, and I have to live with that because that was the kind of father that I chose for my children. But again, this is not about blaming and pointing the finger. We didn't know any better. We were 20, 21 years old. The church was trying to teach us stuff that they didn't know. Parents were trying to teach us stuff that they didn't know. Some of them didn't teach us anything at all. And so I just wanted to be married and get out of my mama's house. I wrote about that in a book. I'll do a whole nother video. And that's just what it was. But that was a life choice that I made. And I have no reason to be sitting here today angry at him, mad at him. He's who he is. I chose that years ago. And it's not about regrets, although it can be. You can regret some things that you've done. But the main point is to not misplace your pain in pointing it and directing it, because that just brings more pain on you. You know the saying, like, if you're angry at somebody else, you're really poisoning yourself. You're not really doing anything to them. You're putting yourself in jail while they're free. That's just added pain on top of what they actually did do against you. Please, it is time for some of us to heal. I mean, like, really, really heal. Not that church prayer line heal. I'm talking about go within and ask ourselves the question, spend time alone. Hit me up later. I can tell you, like, the videos and things that I listen to and things that I, play in the background when I'm meditating, and just things, of how I meditate. You can go look it up. You can figure that stuff out. Follow your intuition. But you have to go within and ask yourself, why did I allow this for so long? What was I lacking within myself? What made me feel like I had to put up with this in order to have this? Most of the times we do it because we're looking for love. We want to feel love. We want to have love in our life. We miss the presence of love, that feeling. We want to give it, want to receive it. When we should be realizing that it's already there. It's already here within us. This is how I've been able to release people that were not for my highest good, not for my best interest, that was taking me to places I didn't want to go, I didn't deserve to be, because it's already here with me. I have not been in this place all my life, but I'm mastering it to where I'm not afraid to be alone, because I'm not alone. I'm here. I exist. And when you do that, let me tell you what happens. When you do that and you decide, you know what? This just isn't good for me. This is not my peace. This doesn't make me feel good. Right now, we really want to focus on feeling better. Okay? I'm not talking about being happy. I'm looking for happiness. I want to be, no. I want to feel better. That's what I'm focusing on every single day. I want to feel better. I want to feel good. Do I feel good right now? The live that I did with my brother, Ricky, we've known each other for a long time. Go look at the video. Every day he'll text me. He'll say, how are you feeling? And years ago, I was always, in my mindset, it's not about your feelings. You're not supposed to go by your feelings. But when you're manifesting, now that I'm into manifestation, it is about how you feel, because you can't manifest anything if you don't feel good. And some of you watch my other stuff. I want to manifest. I want to create, but you can't because of the pain. And that's what we want to get to. You can't manifest anything because you're in too much pain. So he'll text me every day. How are you feeling in the morning, And it causes me to stop and to think, because usually people are like, how you doing? I'm good. How you doing? And you just shoot it back and forth. But it's a thing of, how do I feel? Do I really feel good? Do I feel okay? And if I don't, why don't we just stop and fix that? Why don't we stop and go after that? What is in my life that's making me not feel good? And get rid of it. Cut it out. Deal with it. Address it. Because then, I'm telling you, then we won't have so much pain. Some of us can't even live this life because we have so much pain. And a lot of it is self-inflicted. It's because we are allowing simple things. This person annoys the hell out of you. You can't stand them. Why are they there? I'm just saying, why are we connected to people? And sometimes it's because of finances, codependent, because you are afraid to forge this life on your own. You don't think you can do it. You don't have enough spiritual substance within yourself to take it on, take life by the horns and just take it on by yourself. You feel like you have to have this person, so you put up with stuff, but then you're hurting and you're in pain. And then here's the thing. You don't want to go after feeling better by using drugs and alcohol and codependent habits and things like that and addictions. Now, some of us, we do those things to get through, get by. This is not about pinpointing a certain thing. We're talking about feeling better because you're healed and you're whole. And if you smoke, you drink, you do that stuff, it's because you just want to do it. Not because you have to cope. We were not meant to live that way. We weren't meant to use those things to cope and to survive. Okay? So every day I focus on feeling better and feeling good. And there's nothing wrong with that. And people will lie and say, this is life. You're not going to be feeling good every single day. I almost said a cuss word. Forget them. I can feel good because it's a choice. Just like you can choose to feel like crap. You can choose to be angry. You can choose to be glad. You can choose every single day. And so I'm just tired of pain, okay? And I got tired of pain months ago, years ago. That's why I was doing things and, aligning my life, because I'm done with pain, unnecessary pain. I'm not talking about stuff that's inflicted and stuff that, that happens that's out of your control. I'm talking about the stuff that I can control, and I can control who's in my life and who's not, and who's causing me havoc and getting on my nerves and needs to go. Okay. Because life is too short. You don't know when your last day is unless you know, but life is too short for this crap. Okay. It is too short to allow another human being, another flesh being to cause you havoc. It's too short. And I have had phone calls with you all. You guys have been texting me. We've had video phone calls, Facebook Messenger, all these different kind of communications. And you're talking about pain. We're talking about pain. So I'm doing a video. And some of you may feel stupid and taken advantage of because somebody did something and you allowed it. And just one day you woke up and you were like, oh my God, why am I allowing this? Why am I, allowing this to keep happening? Don't feel stupid. You were just being you, a loving individual. Now it has come to the place where you have to heal, be whole within yourself. We put too much emphasis on relationships, just to be honest, on love partnership above ourself. You have to love yourself more than you love anybody. I love myself more than I love anybody on this planet. And that's a new thing for me, within these last couple years, even more so today. Can you say that? I love myself more than anybody on this planet. Why is that important? Because if I love myself more than anybody else, I'm not going to allow anybody to take me out of my peace, out of my joy. Oh, they finna take me out of character. No, maybe that is your character. Nobody can take you out of anything. No, that's probably who you are. That's part of who you are. And that's fine. I'm not going to let them take me out of my character. Is that you? That's you. And when you do this, let me tell you what's going to happen. When you get to this place, guess what you're going to attract? Other people that love themselves. And when you love yourself, you don't mistreat people. When you love yourself, you don't have time to mistreat people or be dishonest or deceitful. Like I said, I don't know if I started this thought and went somewhere else, but the live that I did with my brother Ricky, he's like family to me, like a friend, a brother, all that, right? And even Coach Chad, who I'm going to be doing a live with soon. We talk, and with those guys, it's like I've known Ricky for a long time. I just connected with Chad. But when we connect and when we talk, whether it's every day, every other day, there's a peace there. We are in alignment. But that didn't happen until I started to totally love myself and release people that weren't loving me like I deserved to be loved. And I'm telling you, it's like a vacuum. Those that are supposed to be in your life, that are ready to treat you the way that you deserve to be treated, they'll be there. And when I look at my phone and I see that they've contacted me or we're texting, there's no guard up or no wall up as to, oh my God, I wonder if they're going to hurt me. They have my best interest at heart. They care about me as a person, right? But mostly they care about themselves. They love themselves. So they don't have time to be, fooling around with me, my feelings, my emotions. You feel what I'm saying? So that's what you're going to attract in your life once you decide I'm going to love myself more than I love them. And guess what's going to happen? Less and less pain. That's the focus of the video. That's our focus of our life right now. We need less and less pain. Less pain is possible. People will say life is hard as it is. There's always stuff going on. There's all this stuff going on already. Why do we have to add it by allowing certain people that are bringing pain into our life? We don't. Just stop it. All we have to do is stop it. But we don't do that unless we know where it's coming from. There's something inside of us that we're not healing, that's not whole. There's some insecurity. There's this thought where if I'm alone, that means something's wrong with me. Hell no. Sometimes it's something wrong with the people that always have to have somebody around them, because then they can deflect. They don't have to focus on what's really going on inside of them because they got all this stuff going on, all these relationships, and put on all these masks and want to be the life of the show and the life of the party when they are dead man's bones on the inside when they go home. Enough of that. You feel what I'm saying? Enough. When you shift this thinking within you, you will attract like a vacuum. Like I said, me and Ricky, we've always known each other. We've known each other for years. But as we keep aligning with who we truly are, we align with each other and we can have conversations and we can talk. And there's a safe place. I'm not going to cause him pain. He's not going to cause me pain. Coach Chad, I'm not going to cause him pain. He's not going to cause me pain because we're in alignment within ourselves. You know what I'm saying? And it's so refreshing to have connections that don't have ulterior motives. And a lot of times you're in painful situations because you have ulterior motives. But you want to blame and point the finger. You have an ulterior motive that you want this person in your life. You want this connection because you're afraid to be alone. You don't really, it's not just all about them. You don't want to be by yourself. You're insecure. You don't want to deal with your own demons. And so you have them in your life. But then when they take advantage of you, when they use you, then they don't treat you right. Now you want to point the finger. No, there's ulterior motives on both sides. You're not pure solely yourself. Technically, you're both using each other because inwardly, you're not really truly happy with how they treat you, but you don't want to be alone. You don't want to be by yourself. Now, just because you don't have any anger or bitterness towards anybody doesn't mean that they should be allowed in your space in the present or in the future. They'd have to do some transformational work. They'd really have to get into alignment. You know what I'm saying? But it doesn't mean that my ex-husband is gonna, be in the same space as me. No. Or anybody else that I've had to, unalign myself with, right? So if they're taking advantage of you and mistreating you, it's just a mirror. It's just a reflection. One of my songs, Was It a Mistake? I wrote about that on my album. You were just a mirror and you made it clear that I'm not where I thought I should be. Yes, it hurt when they did whatever they did, but when did you ignore your intuition that was probably trying to tell you, when did you get distracted by what they were doing? Okay? Don't compound the pain. Don't compound the pain. Okay? By adding on the resentment and the bitterness when you allowed them in your space to do whatever they did for however long. Family, friend, relationship. Doesn't matter. What they did is bad enough. Don't go punishing yourself by adding on playing victim. I'm on a peace journey. It used to be, I want to be happy. I want peace. Okay. Because I believe happiness can follow peace. Okay. Because happiness is temporary. It's when something happens. I learned that a long time ago. Joy is like consistent. It's like you're just a joyful person. But happiness is with something happens. I want peace. I'm on a peace journey, and nobody, especially flesh and blood, nobody is worth sacrificing my peace. Nobody is worth taking me through cycles and the same old thing over and over and over and over. And we always land on our butts. Okay? Nobody is worth it. Nobody is worth sacrificing that peace. And what does make me happy about that is now the chances of pain entering into my life are like slim to zero. None. I'm talking about as far as pain that I allow and I give somebody permission to do against me. It's like none. I mentioned the connections I was talking about earlier, and I'm sure there's more, but those are two that, I want to reflect on since you guys have seen them. You've seen Ricky on my live and you're about to see Coach Chad. The chances of pain now is because of the people I'm surrounding myself with. And when I say I love myself more than I love anybody else, when I exchange with anyone, it has to be mutual, a mutual exchange. And if I sense or feel anything that is off and that's going to, introduce pain into my life because of their behaviors, their habits, their whatever they're doing, you just release it. It's just no. We don't have to engage. Oh my God. We don't have to cry. We don't have to do that. It's not about, you just giving up on people. It's been years. For some of y'all, it's been 10 years, 20 years. And y'all are still complaining and talking about the same pain with the same people. At least have pain with new people. No, don't have pain. I'm just saying. But it's the same pain with the same people for the same amount of times over and over and over. And if the exchange is not going to be mutual, there will be no exchange. It's that simple. This may be a part 2. I don't know if it gets too long. But one thing that I really noticed is that I'm in such a beautiful space right now, beautiful place. I realized that a lot of the pain in these connections that I had is because I did not ask the questions. What is your spiritual substance? Like, where do you go for your spiritualness, your spirituality? Okay. And if it's religion, no, I should have, you know what I'm saying? But when you are connected to somebody, when they go through something hard, what do they turn to? Who do they turn to? And if they talking about, oh, I go to church every week and I read my word, no, that's religion. Who do you connect to spiritually? Because some of us are connected to people who have no spiritual life at all. They depend on yours. They cipher your energy. Okay. And then they end up doing things that are offensive to you, lying, cheating, and all those low vibrational things. And they end up hurting you. But I'm connected to people, and I want to be connected to people that when they are going through something, they have a spiritual source that they run to, that they're aligned to, because then they won't turn to lying and cheating and being deceitful and fear, which causes hurt and pain in relationships. Okay. You have to figure out, go find out what's your spiritual, like Ricky. I know what he does. I know what Chad does. I know where they tap into and what they tap into. Some people don't have anything, and that's a problem right there in itself. A lot of my friends in the past and all that kind of stuff, they didn't tap into nothing. I mean, they didn't even go to church. You know what I'm saying? And it was me with the spiritualness. And moving forward, you have to be connected to people that have something that they go to. And I'm not knocking church. I'm just saying a lot of people that I've known that go to church every Sunday are the worst ones, that cause the most havoc, wreak the most havoc and stress and trauma in people's lives because they go to church. They don't go to source. They don't go to life. They don't go to God. They don't go to, they don't go to, you know what I'm saying? They just go to church. And, okay. Basically, what is their spiritual practice? Do they run to God when it gets hard and it gets tough? Now they want to go to church and now they want to fast. I had a friend like that. I'm not friends with her anymore, but she never went to church. But as soon as something happened in a relationship, going to church on Sunday because her heart is broken. I can't do that because that's what they were using me for. So what is your spiritual practice? What do you turn to? Because if they don't have anything, or if they turn to religion, then they're going to turn to the low vibrational shit and they're going to end up hurting you and breaking your heart. They're going to lie. They're going to hide. They're going to, be deceitful to keep a connection with you and end up hurting you because they really don't have a spiritual life. If they don't have a spiritual life, then there won't be any fruit. And then they can't add to you. Like I mentioned with my 2 connections I was just talking about, we pour into each other spiritually. We're spiritually aligned and we don't believe the same things. Like Coach Chad, he may talk about a little bit of his on our live. He has a totally different way of believing and thinking, but we're in alignment because it still brings us in a place, it keeps us in a place of peace. It keeps us in a place of alignment to where, there's no drama, no stress. We're building each other up. We're building ourselves up. Same thing with Ricky. We may not believe the same thing. It doesn't matter. There's something about what we do reach for that keeps us both at peace. You know what I'm saying? Moving forward, it can't be about, oh, she's sexy, he fine. We like this. We like to go to this places together. What is your spiritual practices? What's your spiritual regimen? I go to church is not good enough. I did ask my ex-husband that. He asked me that too when we got married. It was not enough, as we can see. You go to church? Yeah, I go to church. You gonna submit to somebody? Yeah. You gonna love me like Christ loved the church? All scripture just, you go to church? Yeah, then that's the one. That's not good enough. Like, what do you do? Like, how do you go within? Like, when you get alone, what do you do? Like, do you meditate? I'm serious. Do you use a singing bowl? What you do? What do you do to tap in so that you don't cuss somebody out? What do you do to tap in so you don't cheat? What do you do to tap in so you don't lie? Hello. What do you do so that you don't go and, rob a bank? What do you do to keep you in perfect peace? And I strongly believe that if I had have done this, but I didn't know any better. Everything's a lesson. We're all learning. We're all growing. I would have had less pain in my life. But moving forward, if we're not spiritually aligned and you don't tap into something that will keep you from hurting me, I'm good. I'm straight. Seriously, ask them, what do they do to keep themselves from going behind somebody's back and doing something. Another reason, and maybe the last reason that you can stop the pain, is be honest with yourself about that person. Look at how they are now, even if you don't ask them. What do they do to keep themselves from going behind somebody's back and doing some shady stuff? What do they do to keep from lying? What do they do right now? What are they doing? How do they do that? Do they have any kind of spiritual buckets that they can just reach into and, do the right thing? When they get afraid, they choose to lie instead of being honest and upright, and you don't need that in your life. That's going to bring pain. Okay. And I really want you to take some time this week or whenever you see this video, meditate, get alone, hit me up and I can, give you some, specific things that you can do. But it's mainly getting by yourself and not being afraid to really face it and get into the dark place if you have to, and cry if you have to, and weep. It's not just about having crying sessions. It's about really going within and resurrect yourself, because some of you have just put yourself to sleep. You've put yourself to a spiritual death, so that everybody else can live while you are dying and dying and dying. And some of you are just gone, but you are watching this video. So there is hope. Get alone, get by yourself. And I mean, just really do some breathing exercises, and let people say what they want to say. You want to stay in pain then. Ignore what I'm talking about. But I'm telling you, I'm in a different space, in a different place in my life, and I go within, I address that stuff, and I make sure that I realize and I know that I exist. I'm a person. I'm real. Okay. And I have feelings. I'm a whole being. I'm a whole Dorian. Oh my God. I exist. And I've totally ignored her. And I have totally ignored her existence so that we were just trained that way. We're just, that's just who we are. That's just what we do. But we're not going to do that anymore, because you don't have to. Okay. You don't have to. Put yourself first. Love yourself more. Let that be your anthem from now on. Put yourself first and love yourself more. Okay? Because people are going to use you, take advantage of you. They're going to do whatever you allow them to do. And they're not going to care. They're going to go on about their life and just do what they do and not give a flying fig Newton how you feel about it. As long as they got what they needed, as long as they ciphered your energy. You feel what I'm saying? So I love you guys. And I know that you're going to do this. I know that you're going to take time. And, I'm thinking about even doing like a meditation video with you guys. I'm already in that flow right now, where you could just go in there and just heal that person, heal yourself, go within and say, you don't deserve that, baby. Dorian, you're too good for that. You're better than that. Okay. And if you have to walk it alone, but you won't. I'm telling you, you will attract other people that are right there in alignment with you. And you may have to go through a time where you are alone and you're healing yourself. That's what this is all about, guys. I mean, I'm just really feeling this right now. Heal. Let that be your focus. Forget relationships, because you're not going to do nothing but tear people apart and destroy it anyway. If you haven't taken the time to heal, and you know what I really feel like I'm doing, even though this is pre-recorded, I am channeling, and I can feel the energy of the people that I've spoken to. And I can feel you guys even when you're going to be watching it. Okay. Some of you are rocking yourselves. Some of you are rocking yourselves to sleep. Some of you are crying even as you watch this video because of the pain. I feel it. I can feel it. And I know that it's not totally me, because I processed this already. And that's why I can come to you and make the video. But you guys are weeping. You're tired. You're crying. And this is the kind of stuff I used to do in the church anyway. I used to be, very prophetic. And, you're weeping and you're crying because you're looking at what somebody did to you, instead of going in and saying, why did I allow it? What permission did I give them? How did I grant them this kind of access? What did I feel about myself that wasn't worthy enough? What did I feel? What did I think? What made me think that that's okay to be treated that way? You know what I'm saying? What made me feel like somebody else could control my life and dictate what I do, and I'm not happy about it? You feel what I'm saying? So guys, whatever your spiritual, regimen is, if you don't have one, get one. Talk to me about it. But you need to get alone. You need to, however long it takes, however many days it takes, however many weeks it takes, for you to get in there and do some core healing, so that you can stop bringing pain into your life and bringing pain into other people's lives. You're hurting other people and you're hurting yourself because you're not taking that time to really heal and let certain things go. But mainly look within yourself and say, you know what? I allowed that. Why? And we're going to change that. And we're not going to let that happen again.